Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world.
Hello, friends. So, one of the most awkward moments a person can experience is when a good friend borrows money. On the one hand, you want to help him or her out. After all, they're a good friend and are just maybe a little short or in a temporary bind right now, or maybe you owe them a debt of gratitude and here's your chance to repay it. Anyway, more often than not, this is just as awkward for both your friend who's asking you as well as for yourself in terms of making that loan. At the very least, it's weird, and at the very most, it's taboo to ask good friends for a loan. But there are times when people need to, so you need to appreciate the circumstances that they are experiencing at the time. Of course, what complicates it even more to loan a friend money is the very set of circumstances that they're experiencing. I mean, are they responsible people, or are they going through money like water? Are they overspending, blowing it on alcohol, cigarettes, or even gambling? Do they work responsibly? Do they have a budget and are keeping to it? Or have they let themselves float with the modern trends of consumerism and easy credit and the buy now, pay later mentality that's killing most people? Anyway, let's say yes, you make a personal loan to a friend, even though you thought better against it. So now you haven't been paid back. So what do? Are you going to get mad? Are you going to get resentful? Are you going to start gossiping about them now? Or realistically, how do you ask for the money that you're owed without making it even more awkward? Well, the first way, according to experts, is to drop some hints and to do so in a non confrontational way. You might say, "No, I'm not going out this weekend. I'm short of cash myself." This helps your friend to realize that you need and depend on this money too, and hopefully will help them realize the need to repay their debt again in a non confrontational way. If this doesn't work, then second, be direct and precise, but again, not in a confrontational or painful way. This may seem the most awkward, but it does tend to clarify the situation and remind your friend both that there is an obligation that he or she has agreed to, and that this isn't something that can just be forgotten. And as an aside, speak directly and don't text. Texting can be taken out of context and be read with a different emotional flavor, but usually a direct conversation better clarifies the situation for both parties. So, if you need to, remind them that you need the money, that this isn't indispensable income, and that you yourself aren't in the position where you can do without. This isn't to make your friend feel ashamed or burdened, but only to realize that you need the money too, and that it was a loan, not a gift. Believe me, many people have borrowed money, and then after a month or two have forgotten that they ever borrowed it, or even assumed that you've forgiven the debt. So reminders may be necessary. And sometimes, if you couch it as a need for yourself, it takes the sting out of it. For instance, by saying that you are short of money right now and could really use it too. This implies that they would now be doing you a favor by paying it back, and it helps take the sting out of it. And giving it a sense of urgency would also help others to see and recognize your needs better. And third, come up with options or even solutions that can make it less painful, like partial payments or offer to accept a payment plan. Another point is to show empathy for the circumstances. After all, maybe you've been there, and a lot of people have been there, in a financial bind at one or more points of their life. Just reflect on it, and that shows them that you understand, and this isn't a cold hearted, one sided request. In fact, if you make the loan interest free, then you have another fact to show your empathy. Hey, I'm not trying to make money here, but I just need my loan back. There are two final notes about lending money to friends. You may not want to have them sign a piece of paper or a contract of repayment. I mean, often for friends, that seems to be an insult. After all, gentlemen just shake hands instead of a written contract. But believe me, keep notes. Keep track of the loan and repayments, and especially if there are more than one loan. It's not infrequent that a friend might come to you multiple times because they're always getting into financial straits. So keep a log. And yes, when you make the loan, pay him by check and ask that he repay you by check if you can. Again, just so you have financial records should this case ever end up going to court. And I can't tell you how many times these debts have gone to court, even with family members. In fact, financial issues like this are one of the main issues that have broken families apart. And a court doesn't hold verbal agreements to the same standard as well as written evidence, especially if there are differences in what is presented by the two parties. So, evidence of the payments and repayments are the best option should this go to court at some point, and you'd be surprised how many times this does land in court. And yes, if you need to, you certainly can put a final request through in writing. And again, this will create an evidence flow for the court, a paper trail, should you need to take it that last step. And finally, remember that the first rule of lending money is to not lend money you can't afford to. Because realistically, if the situation is such that the person who owes you can't afford to repay you, then you have a decision to make. Do you press hard for the money, even to the point of sacrificing your relationship and losing your friend or friends? Or do you just forgive the debt and keep the friendship? In that case, if you are in a position to forgive the loan, you may want to say, listen, I really value our friendship, and if this is going to be hard on you right now, consider it a gift and don't worry about paying it back. So again, one of the most awkward situations is when a friend approaches you for a loan. And I'm not just saying that this is just picking up the check for a lunch or a dinner, but for a real loan to help them out. And you need to think it through. Hey, be safe, be well, and good luck with this. It's tricky, but remember, a true friendship is worth $1 million. And may God bless.